Radiance ban. Ten seconds to pick. 5 seconds remain. Radiance ban. Ten seconds to pick. 5 seconds. Hurry, hurry! Radiant team pick.
I never cared about what they say. I always keep on moving on. I left you behind to live my life. I got up on an early Sunday morning to say goodbye. I got up on an early Sunday morning to say goodbye. I left you behind.
Turn to ban.
The ET as a 5th or a 5. We have seen that kind of Envy throws a curveball kind of down the draft and put ET as a position 3 from time to time. And Universe has played ET in the past, so I don't think it'll be too different there. And of course, TNC gonna open things up with the same start as we saw in the last draft. That lovely PL, and of course, Nyx Assassin.
Yep, it feels like Fnatic didn't really deal with it at all, so I like the gauntlet being thrown down like this. So it's like, look, you seemed lost in the previous game. We're gonna stick to our guns. You got to show us something a little bit different to deal with our Phantom Lancer opening, because they feel like they just didn't have it. They will show a little bit of respect and ban out that Legion commander. So Fnatic gonna have to find another answer here, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see what exactly that's going to be.
I'm not sure if I really like ET or Shaman against PL. I feel like, I mean, the Hex is good, like, but if you don't actually immediately Hex PL, then I don't know. We're gonna see some crazy micro from one of these core players again.
Yeah, it's interesting because it does feel like Shadow Shaman and ET are two supports where the Phantom Lancer can just jump into the backlines and kill both of them, and there's almost nothing that they can do unless you luck out and happen to, or you have really good eyes and you happen to spot the PL in the middle of the swarm, and then you can get the Hex and the Shackle off. But otherwise, not a whole lot that ET can do, because you just get Doppelganger dodged on the Stomp, and that's the end of you. So
I wonder.
TNC literally copy paste draft so far.
I mean, why change it? So far, they've. I mean, that last game was one of their stronger games that they have today, and
For sure.
they did it against Fnatic, which is one of the better C teams. So let's make Fnatic prove themselves, and we're gonna see Dragon Knight, which I think is a pretty decent answer to PL. You do very well against them in the lanes, and the splash is gonna be, I think, even more effective versus PL than Tiny, because you're not limited by tree duration or tree charges.
Yeah. And you're also not having to, like, sure, getting your mana burned as Dragon Knight is annoying, but once you're level 18 and in the, or I guess even level 12 and in the dragon form, you've got the splash no matter what. He can't do anything about it at that point. So that's certainly helpful. I wonder what kind of build we'll be seeing out of the Dragon Knight. I'd like to see... I like Maelstrom a lot on Dragon Knight anyway, and I think against the Phantom Lancer it probably incentivizes it even more. I guess it also comes down to whether or not Abed feels like he needs to be in part the initiator for the team as well, if he needs to get a Blink or a Shadow Blade, which would change the overall item progression somewhat. But I guess we'll have to see where TNC go from here.
Yeah, he might actually end up getting both. Blink, Shadow Blade,
Yeah.
we see a lot of DK kind of get both, and his talents are actually pretty good at kind of carrying him through the mid and late game.
Yeah, so long as you get your levels, you get kind of a lot of effective gold from the talents.
Yep.
TNC really taking their time on this one. I guess maybe the discussion is once again about the Nyx Assassin's position, whether or not they're going to be running him 4 or what. Or maybe they have some particular pick that they want to try out against this Dragon Knight. Alright, no, but just the 3-4 conversation happening. So it looks like it is going to be Sam H on the Nyx Assassin, Tim's going to be on his Earth Spirit, and then we just have one more core to be grabbed. What heroes do you like against DK, Limmy? Is it like Timber and Zeus and that kind of stuff? The things that can burst him? Or what else do you think makes Dragon Knight squirm?
I think you want a hero that doesn't get pushed out the lane too much. Because I feel like Dragon Knight really gets his mileage as like the 5th or 6th minute rolls by. He gets you low and he starts punishing your tower. But if you have a hero that can sustain pretty hard and just sits in lane trade farm but does scale better than DK, then it's the hero you want.
Is this a Dusa ban for Fnatic? I could see it. I think Deuce is probably decent against DK in lane because you just sit there and you never leave your tower and you burn his mana. So that's annoying.
Like OD a lot here for TNC.
Oh yeah.
So because OD does amazingly against both Dragon Knight and Terrorblade, and you have ways to actually back up your players if you're like shackled or stunned by the ET. So they're gonna take out the Gyro instead.
All right. What are we going to be seeing for Universe then is the question. I think Brewmaster is it's not really a good Brewmaster game, huh?
Brewmaster could help you find where the real PL is with the Storm Dispel, so that's a plus. The Universe Void is always like on top of my list in terms of a go-to hero. But Earth Spirit can be a decent answer. I mean, there's also that Pit Lord that they always put on Ohio. I don't know how they feel about playing it here.
What about something like a Magnus? They got 2 heroes to benefit from the... It's weird. They got 2 heroes to benefit from the Empower in terms of farming, but not really in terms of team fights. So
I think so a lot of damage, especially for the Terrorblade, right?
Yeah, and it's some more lockdown. It can sometimes be a little bit tough to play against the Earth Spirit, but I mean, Earth Spirit is just an anti-initiator in general, right? It's almost whatever they pick is going to be tough. Okay, it is the Brew. The only reason that I brought up the Brewmaster is because they banned the Gyrocopter. And I think Gyro is one of the heroes that deals with Brewmaster the best in lane. So, also, if you're worried about that OD pick, then maybe this is going to be helpful. Yeah, there you go.
Got him.
Got him. Not just a pretty face, Lumi.
Yeah. So the problem to me for this Brewmaster pick is that we've seen this, I think, in game 2 of the series that we casted between TNC and Geek Fam, was that if you don't have a secondary initiator to keep them kind of locked down, then Brewmaster blinks in, claps, splits, and then everybody else just like disengage. So I think they're relying on Abed to actually get a Blink Dagger to kind of combo up and initiate. And Pylai is relying on everyone else to actually help him initiate, because he is not going to be able to land his clap against some of the more elusive heroes like PL, OD, Earth Spirit. I think this is a really tough one here for Fnatic. But as we've seen, TNC is a team that, to me, struggles against Terrorblade. And we are watching one of the best Terrorblade players in the world here.
Yep. This is it is potentially going to be one of these situations where Envy is really the hard farmer for the team. So not 100% what the template has been for them recently. But yeah, like you're saying, it's with the Terrorblade pick. In terms of the OD is decent against it, but in terms of the other lockdown for TNC, it's nothing too crazy. He is definitely going to have to get a Manta against the Earth Spirit Silence, which is pretty annoying if you get Silence at a clutch moment right before you need the Sunder. So that's definitely something to watch out for. But we've seen Terrorblades today farm extremely well. I think that's been the biggest thing from all the games that we've cast. The TB just seems to, even in the face of some counters and heroes that can pick him off, just soaks up all the space on the map so well. And I mean, even like the Manta Scotty timings in the previous series were all really good. It was like early 20 minutes for those two items.
Yeah, and it's not even necessarily important that he has a good laning start, right? I think the TPs that we saw earlier today honestly lost in the lane. But he just goes in the jungle for a while, shows up, use the meta to farm like a pretty big stack, shows up to take a tower or two, and just kind of catch back up. The one thing that is a indication of a very good Terrorblade team is that he'll kind of make an early rotation or gank into a different lane, or either that or his teammates will come to him. You get a kill in that lane and you pop your meta for a tower. You generally want to be playing like that for at least the outer towers. And that really not only shoots your own farm ahead, getting you to like the key Yasha, also shoot your supports ahead to get to their key items.
Yeah, that is the one weakness that I will say about the TNC lineup, now that you're talking about pushing buildings, is that TNC are so bad at pushing, at actually threatening buildings and taking them. And I'm just trying to think about it in terms of breaking high ground against like even just against the ET, right? The nonstop stomp spam is going to be really annoying. Maybe PL, if he's big enough, he'll be able to chip and play safe and then doppel away. But we've seen DJ with his Aether Lens and his cast range talent actually be insanely punishing against people trying to chip away at the high ground. So I worry about that a little bit for TNC, because for Fnatic, it's taking the early buildings, like you're saying, is super easy. I actually really like the Brewmaster playing with the TB or the DK, kind of for that reason, right? They can either rock up to the Brew's lane, or the Brew can quite easily go to either of those two lanes once he has level 6. And if they just get a decent primal split off, they should be able to get a kill into a tower. So I think the early stages of the game are actually kind of easier for Fnatic overall with their roster, right? They've got somewhat guaranteed tier 1 tower taking, they've got fairly stable laning, and important for them because they're down a game, and this is an elimination match for the Bucharest Major SEA qualifier, so they can't afford to lose this one.
Normally, I would be a little bit worried about the lack of sieging potential from TNC as well. But do you remember that game where it was just a lifestealer walking up and rage sieging for TNC? The thing in that game that did it for me about TNC isn't necessarily their ability to push high ground, but what happens when they're not pushing high ground. Like when they're not pushing high ground, they do such an excellent job controlling the rest of the map to prevent the enemy team from farming. And that's kind of what we saw last game as well, right? Like Fnatic, it took them a long time to lose the game, but they never also had a chance to get back in the game because the map was always like very smartly taken up by TNC. And I think that's kind of the style that they're going to go for. A very map shutdown style. And give Fnatic a really tough time, kind of zone them in their base.
Highlight Eye once again getting some. Look at this build from the Elder Titan. Oh no, they've managed to catch out Universe. He's gonna try for the TP out. He just barely survives. Nicely done though. Oh, looks like Pi might actually be able to continue stealing the wave. No, 147 gets in front of him. He still has the cast. The rolling boulder in 2 seconds. Pi is quite tanky. Tries to sidestep the boulder, and he actually succeeds just coming out of the stun in time. Turns the corner, still holding on to this creep wave for now. And he will be able to drag it back in between the tier 1 and tier 2. Can he get the fodder range creep deny? No, he won't be able to aggro that one over. But his build is... He got a lot of leeway in the last game. And this game he's actually got a stout and 2 salves. So Fnatic once again putting a lot of emphasis on Highlight Eye helping to win the lanes.
They gotta be careful. Now Pi has a ton of attack speed, but the creep wave's been helping out. In fact, they're gonna roll on him. Pi is gonna just go down here. Oh wow. They just tanked that creep wave for like a good 20 seconds.
Yeah. Is this just the counter to the offlane pull? You just send your 2 supports to slay them? Like,
yeah.
It seems to be kind of working at the moment. Even with the stat shield not surviving.
It also helps that they're pretty like ballsy in terms of tanking up so much creep damage. But look at 1437. He's just...
Oh, he's getting walloped now, but Paralyzing Cast comes out. The roll not going to miss. It's at point blank range. Raven's back behind the tower as well. Pi, alright, makes it back to the safety of his tier 2. They're playing in a pretty narrow area here.
Yeah.
Between getting tapped by either of the towers. And a tier 2 tower at less than 2 minutes into the game hurts real bad. So definitely worth being careful of. 157's clarity is going to get cancelled. Highlight Die just being a nuisance. Though his overall objective up here just seems to be getting Universe off to a good start. And I think that's fair because the TNC tri-lane actually has a ton of kill potential, right? That's one of the really nice things about Witch Doctor. Highlight Eye wanted that bounty rune maybe, or coming a little bit too far forward. Tim's not gonna kick a rock, just kicking Pi sideways, not kicking him into the camp, unfortunately, just a little bit off on the angle. And this could end up saving him. I wonder if he actually needed to kick Pi, or if he could have just dropped the boulder. Yeah.
I think he thought that the PL couldn't get close enough for the lance. But the PL did anyways. So maybe if he just kicked and stunned, and then with the lance that's there, they get the kill. But like you mentioned, they really dedicated a lot to this kind of early game pulling. Stout shield and 2 salves. And they've gone through the 2 salves, and Tangos are running out too. And is this worth it for Universe? I mean, do you think he's gotten enough to justify the investment?
I guess the question is, what else would have Pi accomplished if he'd been elsewhere?
Well, no.
I don't know if he can actually...
Like, for example, he doesn't need to start stout and 2 salves, right? Like, that's close to 500 gold that, for example, DJ could have had for a quick boost. So I'm just wondering if that was worth the early investment. And I'm sure Universe is benefiting from it, but I'm just not sure if it's enough.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he's gotten significantly more than he would have if Pi had been elsewhere, right? Like, he probably... What happens is he grabs the wave there, he gets gone on, he TPs all the way back, he maybe misses a little bit. But, yeah, I don't think this... The one thing that I think has happened up here as well is that maybe Fnatic have underestimated the amount of damage that the Earth Spirit and the Witch Doctor can do. On the one hand, the way that I was thinking about it is that they're kind of respecting the kill potential, and they're using Pi as like a meat shield for Universe, but is 5, or let's say he gets all 3 of these CS, like is 8 CS that much of a difference from 0? I guess they just really feel like they need the Brewmaster 6 quickly, right? Yeah. That's probably the most impactful thing this game.
I think the other thing is by doing what they did, they really kind of manipulated the creep equilibrium to land where it is right now. I mean, maybe those couple creep kills wasn't enough, but the creep kills that he's going to get here definitely will help Universe.
There's another big wave coming in with the double range creep, so I think Pi can call it probably a job well done. And also the one thing that they have accomplished is keeping Tims and 1437 up here, because I feel like the DK is actually quite susceptible to ganks on the mid lane this game, right? He gets imprisoned, the Witch Doctor and the Earth Spirit just walk up. It's a very easy kill from there. It doesn't really matter how tanky Dragon Knight is. They've got enough damage, especially when they've got the Maledict, which is one of the very nice things about the Witch Doctor this game. He's really good at killing these tankier heroes like the Dragon Knight and the Brewmaster.
Bottom lane here, Sam H. Going up against Envy. Nothing much the Nyx could do. I mean, even if he doesn't die here, I'm not sure overall how much farm he's gonna find.
Yep. Ooh, Pilot Eye was trying to scout this smoke rotation, but unfortunately he leaves just a little bit too soon. And 1437 and Tim's, like I was saying, very easy imprisonment into a couple of auto attacks. Cuckoo getting somewhat lucky on the procs. Will finish him off with that last orb. And that, I think, is what Fnatic were worried about. Nice smoke. DJ, meanwhile, just running some pulls down bottom. Not a whole lot that you can do as a Shadow Shaman before you pick up your boots. You know, you can kind of go and zap the offlaner a little bit, but DJ definitely needing to get access to those pulls, get the boots. Now he can actually go make some plays. Tim's is down here for a little vacation, but I don't know if they can really put that much pressure on. I mean, Sam H doesn't have any mana to really speak of, so I think Tim's is just down here to soak another level and then maybe go back to mid in a second. Cuckoo not opting for the like full imprisonment build, I suppose. I'm actually interested to see what build he goes for. If he does just leave it at one point in the imprison, or if he goes for the kind of farmy build with the astral imprisonment. Because I have seen a decent number of people like just max the essence aura and then go back for max arcane orb and kind of say screw it to the astral.
I think this game you definitely want to maybe take up your astral a little bit more early on, because I do feel like regardless of farming or not, it's a very good defensive spell, and you definitely want to have it at a max cast range. I
mean,
mean,
the level 1 cast range is so bad. It's unbelievably bad. Oh, Courier in a little bit of trouble here. Universe doesn't have the guaranteed crit. Alright. I don't even know if it would have been a kill if you had it, but Witch Doctor just gonna grab some boots. Courier, where is it off to now? Actually, it looks like 1437 is going to deliver the wards to Tim's. Makes sense. He's the one moving around. It's much easier for the position 4, and especially at mobile position 4, like the Earth Spirit, to go and plant the wards, as opposed to the Witch Doctor, who looks like he's just going to be hunkering down behind his Phantom Lancer up top. Alright, Tim's coming back up. Still saving that third point. Does opt to put it in the Boulder Smash now. Pi getting a little D-ward over here. Using the Spirit for some vision. 1437 looking towards him. Maledict thrown out. Does have the cask, but alright, looking like he's not feeling confident about going in here. Pi's relatively tanky, and once they roll in on him, he can just force the Boulder Smash with the Echo Stomp, or... not easy.
they are just walking around as a team and denying a lot of the runes away from Fnatic. I think DNC just grabbed all 4 runes. The 6 minute.
Pretty nice. Alright, Cuckoo is opting for the kind of the orb build, at least so far. 2 points up in the arcane orb now. He's getting a little bit lucky on these procs. I think you need like 1400 or 1600 mana to sustain orb with max essence. So the fact that his mana pool isn't completely destroyed yet is a tiny bit lucky, but not a huge deal. Abed just getting completely oomed by this. He's gonna try and pop the dragon form just to get a little bit of range and maybe lay in some harassment. I don't think it should be too much of a problem for Cuckoo, but it's at least easier to play the lane this way. Whoop, they want Pi. Is the cast gonna bounce? It will not. Tim's somewhat hesitant about rolling all the way into the tower. So for now, we will just continue farming. Fnatic are actually finding great farm on all 3 of their cores. They are definitely winning the lanes in terms of the CS battle, but despite that, they're behind on the actual net worth, so...
I mean, such a small difference, I wouldn't read too much into it.
Yeah, that's like that 1 round of bounty runes plus a little bit.
Sure.
We got Dragon Knight just going for a drum. No treads just yet. DJ still wandering the map. Actually spots Sam H here trying to steal away the wave, but they're not really going to be able to stop him. And Tim's is also down here to act as an escort, so they're fine. How is the Brewmaster going towards his level 6? They're going to give him this bounty. That's going to get him a little bit closer. Not opting for the bottle this game, is actually just going to be grabbing up a soul ring and some tranquil boots instead. I was looking at some of S4's games recently with the Brewmaster, and he seems to just go bottle every single time. Though a lot of the time, I feel like when they're giving S4 Brewmaster, it's to do with the fact that he can kind of really heavily pressure the opposing carry and kind of take over the lane, secure the bounty runes for himself. So I guess this is a slightly more pressured situation for Universe, or just personal preference. I don't think this is a bad build at all.
I think OG as a team also gives S4 much more, like, they prioritize him getting a favorable matchup, which I think very few teams in the world kind of just like ask their off lanes, like, okay, what wins you the matchup here? We'll give you that matchup at the cost of, other lanes.
Yeah,
but
Envy getting rolled on here by Tim's.
Milo.
Tim's just trying to scare him. Up mid action, they got the shackle onto the OD. They got the Hex. They got the Ether Shock. He is gone. Rotation from Universe, and Abed still will just pop the Dragon form. So it looks like they should be able to get this tier 1 tower as well. There's actually no glyph available, and nobody on TNC reacting at all. They're just gonna let this one go. It looks like.
This is kind of a dream for the Dragon Knight. Yeah, Abed has been, I don't know, conditioning, if that's the right word. Conditioning Cuckoo to walk in and Astro him, and then this time he popped his ult and give him the good old stun with his teammates rushing in on the back.
And they're just going to keep on going. I mean, we've been talking about the ability to take a fight in a lane and immediately take the tier 1 in the context of the TB and the Dragon Knight, but the same is also true for the Shadow Shaman, right? And I feel like Fnatic as a team actually plays so well around the Mass Serpent wards. They're willing to use tons of smokes in the early game, go and find picks, because they know that if they connect with even one kill, they can immediately follow it up. SamH is using his first Vendetta and now following around Envy inside of the jungle. 1437 also running over here. There's the Maledict. They've also got the Cask. Is this enough damage? He's going to try and run over towards the Shrine, and looks like Envy might actually make it. TP also coming in from the Brewmaster. This could be really ugly. Universe does have his ultimate available. He's looking forward towards Tim's. Tim's might just kick him away if he gets too close. So, alright. Not the kill that they were hoping for. A TP first. But TNC looks like maybe they can still make this into a tower for tower trade. We got the Siege Creep going to work on the bottom tier 1.
I'm not sure if Fnatic should stick around here looking to defend, but they are going to port in for this one. DJ in here, but no really good way to lock him down and make him pay.
Do you think Universe should be running around like this at the moment, the way that he's doing, or would you like to see him sit back and maybe just finish farming this Blink? Alright, well, that tier 1 injection of money is going to help, certainly. Raven farming the big camp, needs to be careful. There's Reflection, gets clapped out, doesn't have the doppel for a couple of seconds. Can he juke this out? He's actually got so many illusions. The Primal Split gets popped. Charging in, who are they looking for? They do focus onto the Witch Doctor. 1437 getting zapped down. The Nyx Assassin's up in the air. He does have a spiked Carapace, able to get into the Vendetta. So he's going to be okay. DJ's a little bit low. Nuke going to connect over onto Envy. SamH, is he going to go for this kill? Gets the stun out. Nice Hex reaction from DJ, but not going to be enough. Sunder comes through. Envy also just getting muscled down. SamH still needs a little while for his next stun. Envy's quite fast. Just going to juke his way into the trees. He's got his Quelling Blade ready to go. On the other side, Universe out of the split is getting focused on by 1437, and they can't quite seem to find Envy. SamH had the stun off cooldown, but Envy was just a straight up TP out. Universe grabs a bounty and not afraid of 1437 at all. Just continues running over.
Oh, Raven going back for the Battle Fairy build again.
Yeah.
I wonder it was game specific to the heroes he was facing last game, but it just seems like it's just a good way.
Maybe this is just his thing.
Yeah, accelerate his farm.
Yeah,
or rather, not his thing. Great, Cuckoo played it last game, so it just must be something that they agreed on.
Yeah.
Top lane.
Cuckoo in some trouble, trying to juke and jive. There is a Dragon Tail, but it's only melee range. I bet is going to be able to close the gap. However, Universe clap in another couple of seconds. They got the sleep, they do the damage. Cuckoo lobs out the imprisonment, but DJ is also here. Throws out the zap, and that is a 4-man gank, but easily finds the OD, and I think well worth it. These deaths are slowing down the OD's farm quite a bit. He's almost got his Force Staff, which is certainly going to help out, but still, he did actually go back to max out the imprisonment. Alright, so that's how he's been farming. He's just kind of been taking up the dire jungle, spamming Astral. Fnatic keen to use some Mass Serpent wards. They do have a sentry ward down. They know if the Nyx Assassin makes his approach, Tim's going to go rolling straight in. They put the Serpent wards down. DJ never shy of using these. They do get the Magnetize out, but the sleep onto the OD. Abed going to go chasing forward still a little bit until the next stun. They're unwilling to cross past the wards. So Tim's somewhat suicidally jumps in there, but we'll see if Fnatic stick to this push. Still only the two of them up here. They looks like they do have Universe joining them soon. And they do have the Nyx Assassin also trying to vendetta around in the area. Alright.
I mean, I'm not sure whether pushing this is a good idea. It's gonna take them forever.
Yeah. Oh, Sam H spots Abed off to the side. 1437's also here. They can link up with Cuckoo, who's a little bit further up. But they do need to be careful. He doesn't have any mobility to get over here quickly. 1437 going to pop down a sentry. Does not spot the Observer or the sentry ward of Fnatic, unfortunately. So this space is going to be great for Fnatic to play in for the next few minutes. Oh, they can even deward this obs. Oh man. It just runs up, QBs it, runs off. So they know that something's going on here, but 1437 is going to take another couple of sentries to figure out exactly what it is.
Yep, and very similarly to what happened in the first series, Fnatic is just going to send their tier plate in the jungle and just quietly farm. He's going to show up and defend a building here and there, but that is not going to be his primary objective. I say that though, he is rushing towards mid, pops a reflection, and looking to zone Cuckoo back away from his building.
Yeah. 1437 meanwhile is back behind the tower. They spot Envy coming over here. He will be able to step the stun. Pops the drum charge. Sam H not able to get that little bit of lockdown. I think they probably would have killed him if that stun had actually landed, right? Death ward gets popped. Tim's is right there. Plenty of lockdown. He's quite tanky with the drum build, 1300 HP on strength treads, but I think they still have enough. It's still very keen up top. They do finally have this Universe blink, but he gets imprisoned immediately. Tim's using the silence onto DJ to prevent the Mass Serpent wards coming out. Universe just going to turn tail and run for it as Sam H now comes TPing in. Very good reactions from TNC. That looked a little bit disastrous, but they turn it around. Cuckoo now has his Force Staff up, which is certainly going to help with the counter initiation and Raven. This has got to be one of the biggest features of the Battle Fury, right, on the PL, that you can just clear Ancients. It's not really something that you can do with any other build. Like, even with a Yasha, I don't know if you can necessarily stack and clear Ancients yourself. Man, Fnatic, big commitment for this Roshan. Everything popped. Mass Serpent wards, they've got the Terrorblade Metamorphosis, he's double damaged up. Who are they going to give this to? Looks like it will be Envy taking that Aegis, but it might just end up being a farming Aegis. I don't know. Are they going to wait for the cooldowns? The reflection's certainly annoying, but y'all not really caring too much. And TNC smoking, hoping that somebody is going to come down bottom and deal with this wave that's pushing in. But Fnatic maybe have no such plans. They're still hanging around as a team on the mid lane. Probably eager to make use of the primal split. Universe gonna go retreat up to the high ground with the rest of the team, and Fnatic, with only a few seconds of Metamorphosis left, will continue this push in. There is a available. Cuckoo with the Force Staff actually going to go forcing in, gets the imprisonment off onto Envy, but now he's in a really jeopardized position, losing half of his HP immediately, gets stomped up, and looks like he might just get right-clicked down. I don't know what Cuckoo was thinking. He does manage to tap the Shrine. He's also got an imprisonment, but no, just gets right-clicked to death. He must have thought that his team had his back, or that they could find an initiation there, but that ended up just being a bit of a mess. Raven does manage to take out the tier 2 at bottom at the same time, and they force Envy's TP. He throws out the Sunder. That looks like Raven should be fine to disengage. I mean, his life to stop the push and get the tier 2 bottom, I don't think that's worth, but Raven at least made it into not so terrible of a trade. Alright, Abed just rushing BKB. Fnatic, this very much seems like they are on the warpath, right? To me, it feels like they're going to finish the BKB on Abed, they're going to get the Vlads on the Brewmaster, they get the Manta on the Terrorblade, and that's probably it in terms of the timing. I get the feeling that they do not want to go late against this PL build. They're not willing to go late against the OD. And TNC definitely seem they're all aboard the late game train right now. OD even queuing up a Midas after that 4-staff. Tim's going to spot out DJ, roll through, gets hexed up. They are going to drop down the Mass Serpent Wards, helping to control the space around here. Earth Spirit can at least get off the Magnetize. Nice boulder smash from Tim's and the drag back Silence, but Envy comes in. They clean up the 2 supports. 2-for-1 support trade. Is TNC going to tap their Shrine on the way out. They still have not managed to deward everything around here, so Fnatic still with some vision. Nice spiked Carapace from the Nyx. He still slept for a little bit longer. Universe no primal split for 40 seconds. He will get the blink clap. Has Sam H figured out where the ward is? I think he has. And Nyx Assassin also going Midas. Oh, has already picked up Midas. So if they can hold, the late game is looking alright between all the item decisions, but Fnatic trying extremely hard to punish. And now Raven gonna get reflectioned up. Cuckoo trying to escape. He does have the 4-staff, getting a little bit further out. Envy just forcing that, actually using the Metamorphosis. Universe still also hot on pursuit. Not gonna be able to get the blink clap though. Cuckoo looks like he's actually out of there. Envy should, I guess they go clean up the mid tier 2. It's not the worst Metamorphosis.
Yeah. I mean, that Aegis is still running for a little bit while. I don't think they can actually... Yeah, I don't know if they could pressure high ground or anything. It looks like this will end up being like a farming Aegis. So... TNC's high ground defense is not great, right? They don't really have that much spam. There's like a PL Ags to talk about, but I somehow doubt that Raven's going to be going for an Aghanim Scepter with this build. Looks like he's already got everything planned out. SNY into a Silver Edge. Ims gets the kick away, manages to dodge the stomp. Nicely done by him. Envy with an Arcane Rune, just running around, spitting out illusions everywhere. Going to be shoving all the lanes. And Abed still just farming his BKB. Not necessarily that fast on the Dragon Knight, especially with the item build, but looks like he'll have it at a decent timing. He's got his level 13 now, so they've got the level 2 Elder Dragon form to help out against the illusions somewhat. But Fnatic just still biding their time. They've got cooldowns back up, so I can definitely see that they're keen to make something happen, and they do smoke. It's still only level 1 Primal Split and level 1 Mass Serpent Wards. So we'll see what they go for. There's still a tier 1 standing at bottom. Maybe they try and force a tier 3 so that they can take the shrines. Do you think that's more worth it than just going and taking the bot tier 1 and tier 2? I think walking up high ground against this TNC team might be somewhat scary. It's not like they have a lot of AoE defense. Hold that thought here. Poured out here from Cuckoo. Oh,
and he gets stomped up. Nicely done by Pi, covering the 2 angles, and now Cuckoo just gonna have to try and fight it out. The Aegis does get reclaimed, but so will his life. Cuckoo down. Dead for 50 seconds. TNC used this as a chance to go mid.
But to answer your question, I think it's going to be hard to push into TNC's tower without suffering some sort of consequences. It might not be like a Pitlord Firestorm, but if the Earth Spirit is able to kind of come in from the backside, or if Witch Doctor gets a good cast, you could lose a lot of your momentum by failing that high ground push. Fnatic, though, gonna go straight in, and well, with the Mass Serpent Ward, they might just get a straight up tier 3. They're doing this
there's no glyph?
Really fast. Yeah.
Alright, nice stun coming in from Sam H. That's going to slow down Envy a little bit. Can they control this up? The PL Illusions dealing pretty nicely with the Mass Serpent Wards, but tier 3 still dropping very low. Abed runs in on the front lines. He's still got his BKB, and with that, Fnatic do just mop up the tier 3. They take a little bit of damage on their own tier 3 down at bottom. The Nyx Assassin Illusions doing their best TB impression, but with that, shrines are open, and Fnatic gonna get a huge cash injection in the next couple of minutes. That's the one thing. Fnatic they're actually not that far ahead in terms of towers. They're up a couple of kills, but the net worth and the experience are quite close. But a lot of that is concentrated on this Phantom Lancer. 13k net worth on the Raven PL. He's going for a Shadow Blade up next, which I find a little bit interesting, given that they already have the Nyx Assassin. on their roster, but I think the Silver Edge is just so value against the Dragon Knight, right? Being able to break his Dragon's Blood just makes him extremely easy to kill. Is there anything else that's particularly worth it for Silver Edge? I guess also the Brewmaster Drunken Brawler, right?
Yep.
Alright. Tim's has his Blink, so adds to the playmaking potential a lot that he has. Highlight Eye just working on Spirit Vessel. What do we have on Mr. DJ? Same thing that he always does. Disassembles his arcanes into an Aether Lens. Goes back to the Tranquils.
He loves this.
He makes it work. His positioning is always really, really on
Well,
point.
it helps with your positioning. You get to stay much further away.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet. Brewmaster also going for BKB, it looks like. Recipe picked up for Universe. So it's pretty no frills, and the timing is really obvious for Fnatic. It's just a matter of whether or not TNC can withstand it. Cuckoo has decided against the Blink. Against the Midas, I mean. He's decided for Blink instead, and also completing up his Hurricane Pike.
That's the best way to defend your high ground as an OD.
Yeah.
Blink Pike. You blink right next to a hero that's sieging you. You pike. You push them back, and you push yourself back into your base. You get 4 hits in, and you get a ton of int still. And you do that as many times as you possibly can. Once the fight actually happens, then you're loaded and ready to drop the hammer. And of course, you do hit pretty hard.
Yeah, the one thing that he will have to be careful of is that he blinks from fog, so that there isn't a precast hex or something on him.
Or precast shackle, because
yeah,
that's some Lewis long arm.
Alright, well there's the blink, so that combo is at least somewhat available now. Tim's split pushing on his Earth Spirit is going to get the roll and the blink away, TP out. Nicely done. Raven has his Shadow Blade, and now queuing up an Eye of Skadi, so gonna be quite difficult to deal with. Still number 1 on the net worth. OD actually struggling with the procs a little bit here. Has opted for the 40 move speed talent. It feels like the 40 move speed talent is just too good, right? Even if you... Oh, something happening up top. They've actually managed to find out the Dragon Knight. Looks like he's in some trouble. He still has the BKB, but he's actually just not taking any damage at all from the illusions. Look at that. Yeah, they really do nothing, especially with that defusal. It's pretty laughable. But TNC seem to have stabilized a bit. I guess that Fnatic are just waiting for this last BKB on the Brewmaster, and then probably Roshan and go. I don't know if they're really close to any other items. DK almost has a Heaven's Halberd. That's actually going to be so annoying for the OD this game. The Halberd and the Brewmaster are both going to be a real nuisance. Tim's, so as always, an escape artist. Survives that gank. But you can even read a little bit into the position that TNC feel like they're in this game with what Tim's has on his quick buy. He wants a gem. He feels like they just don't have really enough map control at the moment, or that they need to continue controlling the map well so that Fnatic can't just come and muscle through their base. I guess they still have the slight benefit of the tier 1 and the tier 2 being down their bottom, but Fnatic probably not going to let that stand for very long. And now Aegis and Chi is about to be claimed. Mass Serpent Ward's committed, but not really a huge investment for Fnatic.
Yeah, the problem for TNC right now is that because they're conceding so much map space, they're unable to actually slow down Fnatic's farm. I mean, if you look at the way that game 1 played out, TNC pretty much dominated the map, and as a result, Fnatic fell further and further behind. And looks like we might run into...
Sam H actually has a gem. Oh, they try for the stun on the universe, but they don't get it off. Can they stop the primal split? They won't be able to. Sam H flubbing that really badly, and now Raven might be in a little bit of trouble as well. If they can disengage from the primal split, that would be great, but I'm not sure if they're going to be quite so lucky. And unfortunately for them, Sam H is the one with the gem. They feed that over at the worst possible moment. Oh,
wait,
man.
Anybody going to pick up the gem? Alright, Pilot.
Alright, Pie's on. Alright, Universe gonna grab it.
And they're gonna force a kill on the bottom side. Cuckoo blink force forward, and now the Hex is gonna be there.
Yeah.
Raven immediately gonna pick up that kill.
Alright, and Raven may be looking for more. Envy's coming over to help out. Interested in what's going on over here. They do get to sleep up onto the OD. He's got the Hurricane Pike to maybe push himself away, or he can just imprison. Blink's not going to be quite off cooldown in time. Terribly does have the Sunder at the ready. Cuckoo trying to find his way out of here, but looks like no escape. Envy finishes him off. A couple of cooldowns committed for the Terrorblade, the Metamorphosis, and the 10-second BKB. I actually don't mind this line of play from TNC because it at least takes the fight away from their side of the map. Right? If they'd gotten that Blink stun on the Brewmaster and just maledicted and popped him, that would have actually been quite a good fight, but unfortunately it gets turned around on them a little bit. Another BKB getting popped out. They want this Sam H Nyx Assassin. Gonna stomp him up. Dust not quite connecting. It looks like they've actually found Raven as he moves his way through. Universe just gonna go for the clap. Does not have the primal split. That's the third BKB. TNC, if they can disengage after this, that would be huge. Looks like 1437 will probably pay the price for the rest of his team. But I mean, all three 10-second BKBs getting popped quickly. And that could be where the OD actually shines in this upcoming fight. 5 seconds on the respawn.
Maybe. DJ's coming in with Mass Serpent Ward, though. I think they're going to just meet up with Envy, drop the Mass Serpent Ward, and just run at this building.
And Raven, I mean, he does have a Silver Edge. Abed, they're going to banish him up. Buyback immediately from 1437. If they can focus down this OD, it would be big. The Primal Split getting popped. And unfortunately, he TP's straight into the Earth Splitter along with the Stomp. They're going to lose both supports right off the bat. Along with that, the Mass Serpent Wards are just going to town on this lane of Rax. Envy and the rest of the team going to swarm on over to mid. Envy does not have the Metamorphosis for a little bit, but they don't even need their cooldowns. Cuckoo, what can he get done? He's right-clicking onto Abed, doesn't miss on the first couple of shots, but after that, he's being hazed. He's also going to get hit by the Dragon Tail and shackled down. What can they find? Raven manages to find Pylai Die, and now runs himself out of the base. Cuckoo with the buyback, looking towards Abed. Sam H scurrying around, has the stun in a second, but Abed does manage to get off the cheese. Universe just dodging everything, and Cuckoo, I don't know if he can escape. They've clapped down onto the Phantom Lancer. Cuckoo trying to slink his way back in. Those disables are just way too much from Fnatic, and it looks like Fnatic may have just done it. Raven's in, he's trying to fight up against Envy, but not doing nearly enough damage. Now there's the reflection. The invis not helping at all against this gem on Universe. Raven needs another doppelganger. Looks like he is going to be able to make it back to his fountain. DJ almost getting killed off by Sam H. The Drunken Haze not quite enough. Spiked Carapace attempted TP out, but I think he might just get right-clicked to death.
Man, that gem drop just turned around the game so much, because all of a sudden that PL just, and the Knicks actually, they just can't play.
Yeah, Tim's nice two-man stun. They get the break out of the Dragon Knight. He pops the BKB, trying to fight his way out of this one. 1437 channeling the Death Ward. They bring down Abed. Eternal Envy still has the Aegis, but they'll at least get rid of the Metamorphosis. Can they stay on top of Universe? They're doing a good job of canceling his Blink. Tim's still chasing after him. Sam H with the Mana Burn. Alright, they finish off Universe. Can they go back for Envy? That's the question. Envy doesn't have a TP scroll. He's running for the enemy fountain. He's going to be able to grab when he pops the BKB. And that'll be the end of that. Does manage to TP out. Meanwhile, the mid melee barracks get cleaned up, it looks like, by the illusions and the siege creeps. And despite a hold from TNC, I mean, Fnatic got everything that they could have wanted. I mean, bottom lane is even gonna end up dropping.
I mean, the other thing about this game is that let's pretend for a second that TNC still have their main base, right? Like, let's pretend that Fnatic was unable to get the top and middle racks. They still have map control, and keep in mind that they have done 2 rows so far. The next Roshan give Shaman the Refresher Shard, and if they retain map control for that, they just double Serpent Ward for a lane. So I do feel like there's a huge sense of urgency for TNC, and that's why they bought the gem. They just need to wrestle back map control ASAP. And honestly, they have been very unfortunate. Sam H now runs into another sentry.
Yep. DJ just gonna lock him down. Tim's comes rolling in with the silence for the save. That's gonna do at least some work. They will be able to clean up the wards. Envy coming through, drops the reflection, looks towards 1437. Does he have the meta? He doesn't, but he doesn't even need it. He 3 shots the poor Witch Doctor. PL still on the run. Envy charging forward. Tim's roll away, but doesn't actually have any rocks left. The constant fighting has left him with no resources, and he's just gonna be completely killed off. Universe in front of him, Envy behind, and this is looking like it might just be it, Lumi. It's like you've been saying, Fnatic still have map control, could wait around for another Roche if they really wanted to, but at this point, they just seem so strong.
The way that Fnatic is itemizing and going for this timing push as they find Sam H, but he blinks away, but he's actually stuck up there. Do they have the vision on him? Oh god, how's... Ooh.
There is a path through there, I'm pretty sure, but...
Yeah, there is, but I think they thought that he blinked over the trees. But I was saying this this triple BKB timing, this really is reminiscent of the Chinese teams. This is kind of what they all do. Triple BKB timing push.
Yeah, just make a couple of heroes on the enemy team completely useless. In this case, it's actually the vast majority they're going, and Envy taking a little bit of damage here. Does still have his BKB, gonna pop it off, has the Sunder at the ready, not really gaining very much HP off of 1437. Raven now popping a BKB, but just getting mowed down by all the illusions. And Abed standing strong in the front line, still has his BKB at the ready. Raven needs to heal up, 1437, doing his best to help him out. Cuckoo with the Imprison, did not have the Hurricane Pike off cooldown, so can't shove Abed outside of the base. They get the Dragon Tail onto the Witch Doctor. 147 just brought down. Universe pops the BKB straight into the Primal Split. Just knows that he has to run interference for a couple of seconds, and Fnatic will be able to clean up this lane of Rax. And yeah, with that, 1437 gonna tap out, call the GG, and see if they can do a little bit better in Game 3. What do you think went wrong, Lumi? Too greedy of a draft? Didn't do as well as they thought in the lanes? TNC just looked... Yeah, it didn't look good at all. Huge contrast between Game 1 and Game 2.